My name is Hayu Qaimamunazzala. And yes, I'm from Universitas Gadjah Mada in Indonesia, and I'd like to thank you for having me over here to share about how our experience in our university, about how to engage the community in our education and research in order to provide an impact on the community we are engaging. Just a little background on how our university identifies itself. Because we come from a background of where we were colonialized in the very beginning, and the university was established at the period where we first received our independence. So we identify as a national university where we hope to maintain and develop our national unity. And the little definition, I guess, is fighting, but the idea is that we will struggle to keep this unity, and so we will do our best to do what we can. And Pancasila here is our national ideology, where that we would like to uphold in our activities. And we are a people's university where we prioritize the interest of the people and educate the Indonesian nation in order to achieve a worthy, fair, and prosperous life. So the university aims to provide a greater impact for our people. And the last one is that we are a cultural center university, so that we hope to preserve the development of our culture within our activities. And the university, which I've mentioned earlier, we work through 3 pillars in higher education. The first is education itself. So we as lecturers, we have to educate, and we also have to conduct research, and community service is a very big part of what we also have to do in our routine activities. And the strategy to implement what we call Tridharma, the pillars, is that although it used to be separate, you have education, you have research activities, and community service. Now we aim to do it all integrated into one action where we have all of them together. And now the current policy from the Ministry of Education and Culture in Indonesia, we try to aim to reduce the gap between the skills that are taught at the university and what might be needed from the community or from stakeholders who will be using our graduates in their institutions or workplace. So the Ministry of Education tries to push for university activities that usually includes here, I'm sorry, it's in Indonesian, student exchange, and then you have internships in workplaces. And then students are also encouraged to teach in schools as part of their education program. Students are also encouraged to do research, and then they can also do volunteer work and projects for humanity. They're also encouraged to do entrepreneurship programs. They can also develop their own independent work, which might not have been structured by the university. And the last one is to build a community, which I will talk more on that in the next slides. So one of the key programs that is maybe in many universities actually in Indonesia, because it is one central part of the curriculums we have, is called Kuliah Kerja Nyata, which if we translate it literally, kuliah means studying at a university, kerja is working, and nyata is real, as in they're doing real life work. So it's, maybe if we try to describe it, it's more of a student community service program, where we have teams of students from different faculties. So you will have a mix of students from natural sciences, social sciences, in teams of, I think, 30 students. And they will be sent to areas around the country to live with the community and try to do like a needs assessment of what the community needs, what the community, the problems that they're facing, and how they can build that with the community. So it's a combination of education in that we teach the students how they can go about doing that, especially after they work after they graduate. And students are also encouraged to do research, or the supervisors that are supervising the work of the students here are also encouraged to do research in the area. And of course, it's very heavily built for community service. So the output of this program is the students will do a community service program to develop the area. And the priority themes that are chosen here generally relate to the SDGs. So it's about food security, energy, health, and then because we are an archipelago, it's also related to maritime, security and defense, and then engineering programs, social humanities, education, arts, and culture. And it is encouraged that all the programs, a majority of the programs, are multidisciplinary and cross-culture, because this is just a mixture of all students from different faculties. And the history is that UGM, at the very beginning, sent students to teach in various schools around the country, because in the past, development in the country was very centralized in just one island. And we needed to be able to educate people from the different areas of the country. So, and because university, higher education studies is just such a privilege for certain people, the university sent these students so that they could build the communities elsewhere. And UGM is one of the pioneers of this, which was then followed by other universities. And eventually, what was just a voluntary program was established as a part of the curriculum. And in the past, it was, because of the nature of it, was more of a community development. Now that we are more developed, it's now more of a community empowerment. So it's no longer students coming to develop the area, but it's students coming to work with the community so that they can find their own solutions and be able to maintain a more sustainable solution in that area. We have two versions of this community service program. The first one is just the regular one, where students are given a theme. So it could be health, it could be economic solutions. And even if you are maybe a student in health, you would have to support that theme. How can you support economic development through health? So students have to be creative in order to support that. And so hopefully they also get an idea of how multidisciplinary work can be done in their own fields. And the second is because Indonesia is an area with so many natural disasters happening. We also have a Peduli Bencana, which is disaster care. So these students, their theme is just to focus on the disaster in that area. Whether they, it depends on what what point in that disaster. Are they there for the initial first aid, or are they there post-disaster and to help to build that area to recover? And the principles that we have for this program is, the first one is co-creation. When the students come in, they need to work, develop the ideas with the community. So it's not something that should be top-down, but definitely has to be discussed with the community. And we aim for something that is co-funded. So the university will provide some funding, but hopefully here, because it is in a community, the stakeholders, the government, the health centers, or maybe industries where they would come, would also help to fund the programs that they have to create together. And then there's flexibility, because we don't know what will happen when they arrived in the area. So there should always be room for flexibility in the approaches and the programs that they develop. And it should be a research-based community service, so they have to be based on previous research that has been conducted, and also doing research at the time that they are there. It has to be accountable what they do, and we aim for something that is sustainable, so that when the students are no longer there, the community would still be able to thrive. Just an idea, this is the map of Indonesia, and the areas that we are working on here is, so yearly, approximately 8,000 students are deployed to these various areas. And in order to maintain sustainability, these are also areas that we will return to with another group of students with a theme that will support the work of the previous students. And just a general process, I don't think that I have to go through too much of this, you can read through it, but at the very beginning, in the development of the proposals, it could be developed by the field supervisor. So these are the lecturers that want to develop that area that they want to do the program in. Or it could be the students themselves. Maybe they come from that area. Maybe they've seen something or read something about that area and they want to be able to improve the problems there. Or it could also be the partners. So the stakeholders, the governments, they have the opportunity to register at the university that they have this problem, they have this opportunity for students to learn from, and then they can develop it and send the proposal to the center. And after that, then we have to train the field supervisors so that they have the same vision as the team. And everything else, I think that is just implementing the steps here. And students are assessed from course materials at the very beginning, their plan, how they perform in terms of are they disciplined, how they work in their teams, how they engage with the community, and the program itself. And so after that, they will do a final report and final exam. That's how they would be graded. Now, in terms of the results, what did we actually gain from this kind of program is that we see our students gain real-life problem-solving experiences, and they're also improved in terms of communication skills because they have to meet with stakeholders. They have to talk with students from different fields. So we hope that through this, then they understand that there are people outside of their disciplines. We have different terms for learning, for talking about the same item. You know, they have different point of views. And we hope that they know how to communicate it well in that team. And then the students themselves have a portfolio of their programs and research outputs. And in terms of these outputs, we are also supported by peer-reviewed journals in our country that are specifically about community service programs. So we encourage our students to publish it. It could be in these journals, or it could, a lot of the examples are also in YouTube videos, which I will share at the end. Hopefully there is time. And so that these programs are more visible, and from reading the publication, people can see how the process went, what are their results. And for the community, we hope that from this program that they're more empowered to solve their problems because they've received students who have knowledge and technology to be able to help in the area, and that they learn from that. Here also, we'd encourage the development of appropriate technology so that when the students come, they see the problem, they develop the proper type of technology that is needed there. And in that sense, it's not always something that is very high tech, but it's just appropriate for the problem that they face, so that it helps them. And then here we have a partnership between the community and the scientists, so that if there is any further research that is needed in that area, and there's further need for technology, that it's always continuous. And there's also, we see that the villages, eventually there's development, and the children here that meet these students, they tend to be inspired to also pursue higher education. For the university itself, we've seen that there's increased partnership with the community, and we have new innovations developed in those areas. And we have graduates with real life skills. But this kind of program has some challenges. The first is, of course, funding. How do we fund something like this? Because you have to pay for the transportation of those 8,000 students, where they're going to live. You have to consider the accommodation, the program development, and it is greatly supported by sponsors. So students are encouraged to create proposals and find sponsorships within that area, work with the stakeholders. So we're also encouraging stakeholders to work with the budgets that they have, because we're coming there to help that area, then they should also have something that they can contribute to the programs. And cultural barriers. Indonesia is a country with 400 ethnic groups and 700 spoken languages. In my city, we have Japanese, and even that, I think it's 7 levels of that language, where if you talk to a certain person, you have to have that certain level in that language. Otherwise, you're just going to, you might not say it properly. And in order to overcome these cultural barriers, before the students are deployed in the various parts of the country, they are taught soft skills on how to communicate, how to act when you are in someone else's home with different cultural norms and different ways of thinking, so that when they arrive, there's no conflict between our students and the community. And one of the problems that we also face is about empowerment itself. How do we empower a community? Because when you send students there, sometimes the community might be more experienced, and so they see students coming in, they want something more materialistic, they want something built and built for them without having them participate. So we find that we have to teach the students first. What is empowerment? What can you do and cannot do? And here, the role of the supervisor is very important, because they are the ones that will communicate with the community if the students are not assertive enough in that aspect. And then health and safety is also a very challenging aspect, because there are just so many potentials in terms of health that can happen in that area. And we make sure that every student is insured by the university and can access healthcare in that area. So in terms of this program, we see that there's just many opportunities for research in that area, and to develop the community service program, and to develop appropriate technology, and then of course, in terms of training materials and possibility of students coming into that kind of area. So I think that is for my presentation.